y'all doing? Wish you guys a happy Tuesday. I didn't necessarily want to do this on camera, but you know, some of you guys are going to be able to relate to this. Some of you probably won't be able to relate, but I'm going to try and communicate it to you as best I can. I was working on the live today, and you know, preparing because I had some thoughts on everything that's going on, and you know, been talking to Miss Ray. Shout out to her and all the mods out there. I'm preparing for the live. There's no guest today. So just me talking to you guys live and in person. And I got a notification that that a package had been delivered. It's a package that I wasn't expecting to arrive today. But I went downstairs to get the package, and this is what it was. This is new pair of glasses. You may not realize it, but I can't see right now, and I just y'all just don't know what a moment it is. Y'all don't know what a moment it is in a nerd's life to get a new pair of glasses. You know, when I was growing up, I used to get a pair of glasses like every couple years, and you know, it meant if I played football in the backyard in the second grade and they got cracked, I was going to have cracked glasses to every person that I met for the next 18 months. If I lost my glasses, which happened quite a bit, if I lost my glasses, it meant that I was going back to the last pair that I had. So I was going to be in seventh grade with third grade glasses because Mama wasn't buying more than one pair of glasses. And the fact that I can look at y'all with pride today is amazing. And you know, it's one of the reasons that I have so much emotion. And you know, my wife and I have actually had a number of she's gonna come up a lot today, by the way. My wife and I have one of our biggest disagreements, two biggest disagreements we had is because she's a couple years younger than me, and she came around when they had, you know, like Disney Channel and stuff like that, and they was making fresh Disney movies, And I just remember growing up, and we used to have to watch Bambi and Fantasia. Like we was watching what Song of the South. We was watching Disney movies from the 50s and the early 80s. Okay. We were watching pre-segregation content in the 80s. That's what we had to watch. Okay. When they wheeled in the little cart, when they wheeled in the cart with the TV and the VCR on the bottom of it, we knew it was about to be some pre-integration propaganda was going to get blasted to the kids of the early 80s. But then when she came around, she got to have fresh Disney movies. Like they was making them. They started making TV shows. That's one thing. That's one fight that we had. The second fight that we used to have is when I met her, she didn't have no glasses on. Okay. And I saw her later on in the day. She had on a pair of glasses. I said, maybe she got readers. You know what I mean? 20s is a little bit young to have readers. But I said, maybe she got readers. And I noticed during the course of us dating, the glasses would come and go. So I asked her, you know, what's the deal? Like, you know, how's your vision? Can you see me right now? Can you see my soul right now? And she said, no, I just thought they looked good with my outfit. I said, I'm sorry, come again? She said, no, I thought they looked good with my outfit. You know, like glasses is fashion, for fashion. Do you know what we went through wearing glasses in the 80s? Do you have any idea what we went through wearing glasses in the 80s? You know how thick they were? First of all, I ain't weighed nothing but 60 pounds. 10% of that was glasses. They used to get knocked off my face. People would take them and try and wear them and walk around and, oh, you must be blind. Oh, if that's how strong they are, imagine how I feel that I ain't got nothing on. You don't care about that. Oh, he must be blind. And then, don't be playing with your buddies, because you can't play with your glasses, because you get your glasses broke. You got to go back to the last pair. You 7th grade wearing the 3rd grade glasses. So you can't get your glasses broke. So I'm playing basketball blind with no glasses on. I complained to my parents. I said, I'm trash. Okay? I'm out here shooting jumpers. Basket not even over here. Basket not even over here. Basket over here. I'm shooting. You know what I mean? I'm playing blind. So you know what my parents did? They went to the optometrist, wouldn't buy me a new pair of glasses, but I guess sports was a priority. So what a disappointment I'm sure I was, because that was surely not my strong suit. Sports was a priority. They wouldn't buy me no new glasses, but when I complained, I was tearing up the rims and backboards in the schoolyard, practicing my jumper. Okay? When I complained, they took me to the optometrist and got me a pair of rec specs. What y'all know about rec specs? What y'all know about rec specs? You realize every week, Throwback Thursday is every week, and every week I have to deal with the trauma of knowing I can never post anything sports related because I got on rec specs. And rec specs not like they are now. They kind of sleek now. No, the rec specs of the 80s and the early 90s, it was nothing but plastic. It was nothing but plastic. All I could see, it was a thin layer of vision right here, and just the thickest plastic you ever want to see in your life. I swear, if a plane landed on those, they wouldn't break. That's how thick the plastic was on the rec specs. And I'm supposed to play shooting guard with those on. And then there was a moment of light in the darkness for my glasses experience. There was a moment of light in the darkness. There was a television show that featured a black nerd like me. And he was the star of the show. And I said, finally, my day has come. Finally, my day has come. Little did I know that thanks to that show, I didn't have a name no more. I wasn't Reese. I wasn't none of that. I was Urkel. That's it. That's it. Don't be a black boy with glasses in the 90s. It was over. It was over. That's what we went through. Only for me to have paid my tithes. I paid my dues. I paid the cost to have glasses now. I paid the cost only for my wives of the world to just pop up. Oh, they look good. We like glasses now. Word. Can you refund my childhood? Can you do that? Can you refund my childhood? Welcome to the show, y'all. I'm glad y'all are here. I'm sorry if y'all were concerned. My apologies. You know what? It serves me because it's gonna be one of those days. It's gonna be one of these days where I'm like really upset about something, and y'all gonna be laughing. So I earned that. I earned that. Welcome, Kathy. Welcome. Get some Champipple. That's Champagne and Ripple. Yeah, some Champipple. Nice. TP, you got us good. You got us bad. Thank you, TP. Thank you. That's dope, TP. If you're a recipient of one of TP's gifts, send him a thank you, would you? And you had me nervous and spooked. I'm too old for this. I'm sorry, Lakia. That's my bad. But you be seeing my new glasses. I'm actually getting more pair, but I got two. And you know what? Shout out to Warby Parker. They ain't paying me, but shout out to Warby Parker. Because back in the day, glasses really did used to be like a grip of mine. Like I look at how much they were, and I was like, okay, like I see why they bought them every couple years. But now, you know what I mean? So I got this pair. I got this pair. I got the brown and blues, and I got the greens. But we're gonna rock the greens right now. I like these, man. I like these. Hopefully y'all do. We'll see how. I haven't recorded a video with these yet, so we'll see how I like them in the actual videos. Speaking of videos, if you haven't, the infamous AD, please no more unboxing of glasses on live. If you haven't got a chance to check out the Byron Donald's video that I posted today, you can go ahead and check that out. Tomorrow will be a BOGO Wednesday. So BOGO Wednesday, dropping early. All right, look for the first video tomorrow around noon. and the second one in the evening. Now, Louis Urkel was a really nice young man. Now, I'm sorry about your glasses back then. I know you still have trauma, but thank you. I care. I appreciate you. I appreciate you validating that. Arrow, sorry you had to go through that as a kid. You know what, Arrow? You know what I used to tell myself when I was a kid? First of all, my mother used to say that it was kind of like an investment. She was like, you have to go through this in order to come out and the world is going to belong to nerds when you get older, which she wasn't wrong in that regard. But I used to think of it as an investment in like having been bullied the way that I was going to build character and make me more understanding and empathetic towards people. Like that, it was going to prepare me better for life in a way. And who runs the world, nerds? Yes, that's true. That's true. They told my son to make sure he marries a nerd. Yeah, I like nerds. I understand nerds. That's probably true. That probably is true. That it gave me a certain amount of empathy. I wouldn't choose to have been bullied, but I do think it changes your perspective on things a little bit. So I do think sometimes I have trouble stepping into my power in a lot of situations. I think I play myself small in a lot of situations by virtue of having grown up that way. But that is a as somebody, I believe Deshauna or Roberta, I don't know who said it, but as somebody said, that is a discussion for Way of Waters. We'll have to get it. Maybe I will get into that for Way of Waters. I haven't recorded Way of Waters in a minute. I definitely need to do one this week for sure. So I'll make a point to do that. All right. Thank you, Zeekster, very much. I appreciate that. Here I am going head to head with NBA. By the way, my lives are on Tuesdays because when I started doing lives, it was the fall. It was the fall of 2023, and I didn't want to go head to head with Monday Night Football. So naturally, here I am going head to head with the Western Conference Finals. What are you going to do? Go Timberwolves. That's all I got to say. Go Timberwolves. I'll be checking that out. I'm kind of excited about today's live. I don't have a guest, but there's some stuff that I want to get into. So we'll get into that with the Ryan Clark RG3 thing. You see, I got the jersey there. This might be the last opportunity that I have to display that jersey. This might be it. So, we'll see. Also want to send some love out to Joe Biden, his family, as well as whoever it is on Don Trump Jr.'s team who posted that tweet about Jill Biden not being able to tell his cancer because she's a doctor. Shout out. Yeah. Well done. Well done in that regard. All right. Without further ado, why don't we... I'm going to play this video. Okay. Okay. So this is a tweet from Ryan Clark. And this is in response to RG3's post about Angel Reese and Caitlin Clark, which I'll get into that as well. For those of you who don't know, Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese played this weekend. There was a hard foul that Caitlin Clark committed on Angel Reese. Angel got up and angrily, and they had to be separated. It ended up being assessed a flagrant foul. And RG3, matter of fact, I'm going to start with RG3's comments. So these were RG3's comments.
against Caitlin Clark? You remember that? Angel Reese celebrated Kennedy Carter getting that flagrant foul on the hip check against Caitlin Clark. You remember that? On the sideline, just, yeah, baby, get her, you get her. Who celebrates like that for a flagrant foul on another player if they don't dislike that player? Okay, you want some more evidence? Here's some more evidence. Remember last year when they were talking about Angel Reese celebrated Kennedy Carter getting that flagrant foul on the hip check against Caitlin Clark? You remember that? On the sideline, just, yeah, baby, get her, you get her. Who celebrates like that?
Good question. Very, very good question. RG3, apparently.
For a flagrant foul on another player if they don't dislike that player.
Okay. So RG3 said in response to that, RG3 saying, Ryan Clark says in response to that, RG3 saying he could recognize hate when he sees it when referring to Angel Reese's feelings toward Caitlin Clark was irresponsible, but not at all surprising. Clark's the biggest star in women's basketball and deservedly so. No need to beat up Reese to add shine to it. RG3 plays into the narrative that Reese is the villain of Clark's hero origin story. Now Oberman and Portnoy, who berated Reese in college, have an ally in Griffin. Add him to the list of black men who've adopted the corny trend of denigrating black women to affirm their choices. Attacking Reese multiple times in order to gain favor from his desired crowd won't help RG3 blend in more. Echoing the microaggressions of racists won't make him any less black than me. Now, he posted a video which was savage. But let me first say this, though, because I started to make a members video because I didn't know that it would, it's kind of off topic. But I started to make a members video a couple times, actually, about the amount of black men in this space, generally and specifically. And by that, I mean commentators and people on YouTube and commentators. The amount of black men who jump out the window to protect Caitlin Clark and denigrate Angel Reese. That's the reason why I titled this, Caitlin Clark doesn't need RG3's protection. The amount of black men who feel like I'm a zig when they zag and I'm going to talk about y'all, but the amount of black men that will cape for Caitlin Clark, and this isn't even to say to be a fan of Caitlin Clark, because this is the thing about Caitlin Clark, and I try and make this clear whenever I do any content about her. It becomes so difficult to separate her from her sycophants. You have to make the effort to do it, but the people that attach themselves to her are the most loathsome people on the internet. Okay? And it becomes very difficult to separate the two and acknowledge that for all of her basketball ability, she has done nothing to goad or encourage or inflame these people's anger and hatred towards Angel Reese. Let's make that clear. So you can be a fan of Caitlin Clark without playing into all the bullshit. I do it. It's not that hard. It's not that hard. Is Caitlin Clark an amazing basketball player? Absolutely. Does race play into her popularity? How can it not? It plays into the perception of everything else. And I will use the example that I used last time I made content about this, which is that when I take my daughter to the store to buy Barbies, and there's 8 white Barbies and 1 black Barbie. What's the reason for that? What's the reason for that? Because that's what you're selling. Because that is what the people who come in are looking to buy. That's what you tell me. That's the explanation for why there's the 1 black doll on the side, or maybe you got to go ask the cashier if they got some more in the back. That's where the demand is. So why the hell would it not be when it comes to the WNBA? It's when it comes to everything else. We just saw 50 white South Africans get welcomed into the country while they're doing mass deportation and racial profiling all over the country. What are we talking about here? What are we talking about here? Does that mean she's not good? Does that mean no? There's been other white players, because that's the other. Well, there've been other white players. Why aren't they? If all it takes is a white player. Well, see, there's this thing called nuance. Multiple things can be true. Multiple things can be true. And the fact of the matter is, when it comes to people saying, you guys just hate Caitlin Clark because she's white, I'm not going to deny there's people that feel that way. Absolutely. But there's a reason for that. There's a reason for that. And it's related to the thing I just talked about. It's related to the thing I just talked about. If Asia Wilson felt the ways about Caitlin Clark, I could understand. She's the best player in the WNBA, and she looks at Caitlin Clark's wild popularity. One thing you can't tell me, 2 things you can't tell me. 2 things you can't tell me. You can't tell me that Caitlin Clark isn't amazing at basketball, and you can't tell me that she's so much better than everybody else that her ability warrants this outsized level of attention and popularity. You can't tell me those 2 things. And it is certainly not her personality. You cannot tell me those 2 things. So, all right. I started to make a video talking about how there's so many black men, and maybe, I made so much Black MAGA content. Maybe this is, I need to get into the psyche of the Black MAGA, right? There's so many black men. And I have to put it in some context because I don't watch a ton. Like, a lot of the content that I watch, a lot of the creators that I watch, I've been disappointed by some of the creators that I enjoy. There was a guy who I used to watch a lot of his videos on YouTube, talk about a lot of college sports primarily. He don't even talk about WNBA. And he's a white dude, but I thought he was pretty, righteous. Like, I liked his stuff. And he made a video talking about their whole beef. And he goes on this rant talking about how Angel Reese is a terrible player. She's the worst player he's ever seen. You know what I mean? Why is race baiting only confined to people advocating for social justice? Why is that? Because that's exactly what that is. And that's exactly what RG3 did. She's the angry black woman with the nasty attitude. You can race bait that direction. That's just an absurd statement to make. And all it does is attract and empower and amplify the non-fans who want to play out their racial fantasy through this WNBA rivalry. That's what it does. And that's what RG3 does. When he says, this is a safe space. This is a safe space. So that gives me the freedom to come in and be racist. RG3 said it's okay. When last heard from, RG3 said that what he was saying, politics and sports. Politics, these sports shows shouldn't have politics. Politics and sports should be separate. Like Donald Trump hasn't dragged that painted raccoon to every sporting event in America in the last 4 months. Word. He must have missed that. He must have missed that. But when we want to talk about our world, then we need to keep politics out of sports. We have to deal with MAGAs and right wingers all over the place. But if somebody says something that's contrary to the company line, we're keeping politics out of sports. I mean, those politics. We're keeping those politics out of sports. That's what it means. And quite frankly, I think we should be mindful of how we spend our time and our money. Perfect example. Going way back to here, I'll tell you, me growing up as a kid with my glasses and all, one thing I realized at a young age that I thoroughly enjoyed was fisticuffs. I thoroughly enjoyed fisticuffs. Not engaging in it. I have a 0%. My record is, I think I'm 0-4, I think, lifetime. I retired at 0-4. But if you told me somebody was fighting in the lunchroom, boy, I sneak out of class early. I love a good fight. Always loved it. Used to watch boxing a lot as a kid. I was thoroughly into it. So when MMA came about, I was all about it. All about it. You mean to tell me I can watch a fight and not feel guilty about it? With video and lighting and everything? I was here for it. Not to mention that I was working for what was called Versus at the time, which is what became NBC Sports. And MMA was like the only sport that they had, MMA and hockey. So I became inordinately educated on MMA and hockey, right? So I've been an MMA fan for a long time. Dana White, head of the UFC, decided that he didn't give a damn about black fans, about LGBTQ fans. He didn't care about female fans. He didn't care about liberal, progressive, Democrat fans. He didn't give a damn. That's what he decided. He's apparently free to do that. He has subjected, in order to enjoy his product, he has subjected the fans to watching Donald Trump be feted at any pay-per-view that he could drag his apparently falling apart Boeing plane to, since he needs a new palace in the sky. I guess he's driving a Ford Fiesta. He's driving a Ford Fiesta down to the arena so he could sit octagon side with Dana White. And this is before he was president. This was before he was president in 2016. This was while he was president from 16 to 20. And this was while he was running for president. So he hit you with all, you know what I mean? You can't say, oh, well, he's the president. Because he wasn't. And I ain't never seen Biden down there. He told me he didn't give a damn about how I felt. That's fine. I don't have to, I can vote with my time, my energy, and my money. Like, I'm out. I'm out. And I think more people should feel free to do that, quite frankly. You told me how much my affinity and love for your sport matters to you. You have communicated that. So here, let me get into this Ryan Clark, because I'm going to talk for 41 minutes. Clearly, I had some thoughts on this. Here we go.
Had opportunities to have those conversations to educate you on what they're feeling, what Black women deal with, what they're seeing when they think of a young Angel Reese. And the whole time that he's mimicking Angel Reese and bobbing his head and moving his neck while he's doing this whole piece, we moved in to being able to read the expressions of a person and know their intent, know their character, know their perspective. But he does understand hate, because I think he also understands the hate of self. When you look at the play, which is all we can speak to as professionals, all we can speak to as analysts, Angel Reese pushed one of her teammates. Caitlin Clark had a hard foul, which is part of basketball. I feel like it was assessed correctly. And Angel Reese's reaction is the sort of reaction you get in a situation when you feel like you took an intentionally hard foul. That's competitiveness. That's rivalry. That's not hate. And so now
I would also add to this. I feel like Angel Reese's reaction here. Let me find a better. I feel like Angel Reese's reaction was also colored by the energy around their rivalry. Because keep in mind, if Caitlin Clark would have committed that foul, and I didn't think it was a flagrant foul personally. I thought it was a regular foul. But if Caitlin Clark would have committed that foul, what's a hard foul, and Angel Reese got up and did nothing, what would the MAGA say? And I don't want to say, I would say, what would the racists say? How about that? What would they say? Oh, see, she punked her. She punked her. You see that? See, Angel Reese had all that mouth, was talking all that trash, and then what happens when she punked her? There you go, she punked. But Angel Reese got up with the energy, and now, you know what I mean? She's according to RG3, hates Caitlin Clark, and she's a thug, and this, that, and the other thing. A scenario that was created from a foul that Caitlin Clark committed ends up being an indictment on Angel Reese. And she was in a situation where you're going to criticize her no matter what she does. Let's keep that clear. All right.
So when RG3 jumps on to the hate train or to the angry train, and now follows along with what we saw from Keith Olbermann, what we saw from Dave Portnoy, as they poured on to Angel Reese to make her the villain in Caitlin Clark's heroic or hero story. Right. The one thing we know about RG3 is he's not having conversations at his home about what Black women have to endure in this country, about what young Black women and athletes like Angel Reese have had to deal with being on the opposite side of Caitlin Clark's rise and ascension into stardom.
Now, when Ryan Clark said that made me look inward. Inward, not inward. That made me look inward, because I have a Black daughter downstairs. And for those of you that are unaware, my wife is white. And I have had conversations on this platform about that and what the ramifications of that are for me and in general, but also given that I'm in this space and what I discuss in this space. So I had to look inward, because I am raising a young Black girl who will be a Black woman, and trying to make sure that there aren't blind spots that I have. Here's the thing, though. in order to make that kind of statement, you have to be informed on how a person interacts with their partner and their race. One thing that I haven't done is had a litany of posts about milk, like which I'll get into, right? Which I'll get into. That I haven't done. Had I done that, I could see where you could draw the conclusion that these kinds of conversations weren't being had, because you damn sure wouldn't post that and say that you are putting the feelings of Black women front of mind.
No, when you look at it, I think A'ja Wilson is the face of the league. A'ja Wilson is the best player in the league. Caitlin Clark is the most important player in the WNBA. And a ton of her fandom has come along with some racial bias or some racial pieces to why people love her so much. And so now if you're
anybody opposed? Anybody questioning that point? Anybody questioning that point? Because I have a link here that I will get into about the WNBA looking into allegations of hateful comments which have been directed at Angel Reese. Now, I have gone at the WNBA already about being Johnny-come-lately when it comes to the racism that has attached itself to Caitlin Clark, about how they got all the Caitlin Clark money, and then they decided to come out after her team was eliminated and act like they just became aware of the racist abuse that all of these other players have been dealing with. But get this, though. Get this. So Angel Reese and all these other players in the WNBA that have to deal with this abuse, anything that they do, in this case, even getting up from a hard foul, is an indictment of them and unacceptable. But yet, y'all were just legitimizing a woman slurring a boy for what reason? For what reason? What percentage of what Angel Reese deals with on a regular basis did Shiloh Hendricks go through that was totally fine for her to behave the way that she did?
RG3, when is the last time within your household you've had a conversation about what she's dealing with? You haven't been able to do that because in both of your marriages, you've been married to white women. You haven't had opportunities to have those conversations to educate you on what they're feeling, what Black women deal with, what they're seeing when they think of a young Angel Reese. And the whole time that he's mimicking Angel Reese and bobbing his head and moving his neck while he's doing this whole piece, his wife is in the back amening and clapping. And so to me, it's just another situation that now this young lady has to deal with. When I worked with RG3.
Now, he gets into when I worked with RG3, which might take us to a Rob Parker place. I was actually working at ESPN when Rob Parker, those of you remember Rob Parker, who called RG3, is he a real brother or a cornball brother? He actually got fired over that. I was actually working at ESPN when that happened. I got actually stopped by a pretty big name at ESPN in the parking lot because we kind of become friends, and he asked me like my feelings about it. First thing he said to me when he saw me is, "Are you a real brother or a cornball brother?" And we talked about it in the parking lot. If somebody told me that if somebody said what Ryan Clark said about RG3 to me, I would be deeply concerned. I'll be deeply concerned with the understanding that, yes, Cornball Brother is funny. It is funny. And it's also very light compared to what he could have said, but he was on national TV. I would be deeply concerned if somebody said that to me because of how my daughter might feel. And I try and center her feelings as much as I can to make sure that I'm not behaving in a way that would cause her to feel away moving forward, with the understanding that all of these things are things she might potentially have access to. But I mean, going green lighting all of the milk posts. Ah, man, I got to show you those. We ain't even got there yet. Hold up.
He would make all of these sort of corny jokes about a young lady has to deal with. When I worked with RG3, he would make all of these sort of corny jokes about milk and how much he loved it and how important it was. And he always points out on social media the color of his wife's skin, as if the color of her skin is what makes her special, as if the color of her skin is what makes her a good wife. I've met the lady. I've had a conversation with her. Right. I think she's more than that.
Keep in mind what he said about RG3's wife. You have made the color of her skin the reason why she has value. I have met her, and I think she's more than that. That's what he said about RG3's wife. Keep that in mind.
But it also leads to what Black women deal with a lot from Black men who have chose to date or marry outside of their race. They always feel like they have to go the extra mile to prop up the woman that they're married or the woman that they're with over Black women by denigrating Black women. I feel like
I don't understand. And granted, everything is not for me to understand. Everything is not for me to understand. Right. That's crazy to me. And it's not like it's foreign to me. It's not like it's foreign to me, but you have Black MAGA, right? And then you have I guess you would say like rank and file. I've been using that a lot, but you have like rank, but then you have this weird space where you have people that will advocate for Black empowerment to the detriment of Black women. Actually, Francesca Ramsey talks about it a lot. She talks about it on Threads a lot. I think I might have to have her back to discuss this. And I don't understand what the goal of that would be. Like, I don't understand where denigrating Black women specifically doesn't align itself with more white supremacy. Like, I don't, I guess, you know what? I guess I'm talking this out right now, but I guess it's no different than, the issues that the people, some of the civil rights heroes that we had took issues with the women's suffrage movement because they tried to take gains at the expense of the civil rights movement. But then they would say, well, we did it so we could get there first and then bring you up. That's just it. And I very much understand and recognize what Ryan Clark is talking about. It's extremely disappointing. It's extremely disappointing. And I don't want to be like, I don't want to come off in a place of being holier than thou. But damn it, I might be. Because I don't know what's wrong with it. I don't know what You know what I mean? I'm like, I don't know what's wrong with you.
Like we should have an opportunity to move past that and understand that Angel Reese can be great in her own right, as Caitlin Clark is as well. Caitlin Clark is a likable and lovable superstar. She pays homage to the stars of the past. She pays homage to the Black women that have come before her. And now she is carrying the mantle forward. So there's no need to pin those two against each other and paint them based on stereotypical tropes. And lovable
This is another point I want to make
as
too.
Caitlin Clark is as well. Caitlin Clark is a likable and lovable superstar. She pays homage to the stars of the past. She pays homage to the Black women that have come before her. And now she is carrying the mantle forward. So
what did the racists do? What did they do and what did they say when Caitlin Clark talked about Black women building this league? What did they say and how did they react when she talked about how she looked? I think it was who was it that she said she loved growing up? It was a player from UConn who ended up retiring early because she wanted to y'all know who it is. Somebody will put it in there. She ended up retiring early because she wanted to she helped a childhood friend who was locked up unjust. Maya Moore. Thank you, YouTube uploader. Maya Moore. They snowflaked out. Armand. They snowflaked out. They snowflaked out. They can't actually even deal with who she is as a person. She has to represent something to them. And even her communicating who she is, even her communicating, hey, I recognize all of these things and all of these forces. They can't take it. Let's stop with the arguments about what this is about. She's even called you out for it and you still won't stop. I mean, yes, and I remember Megyn Kelly losing her mind. You know how bad it is. You know how bad it is when the person that you are caping for is saying that you're full of shit. You know how bad that is? Even the beneficiary of your caping knows you're full of it.
there's no need to pin those two against each other and paint them based on stereotypical tropes. And I think this is what I like RG3 to know, that no matter how much he continues to echo the microaggressions of racists, he'll be no less Black than me.
Hold up.
Now, shout out to Ryan Clark and the Pivot Podcast for that. Now, just in case, because I had these lined up as well. You were unfamiliar with exactly how RG3 gets down. We got Super Saiyan Milkman. We got doctors say breast milk is the best milk. We got Post Malone concert with this tall glass of milk. Then we have cookies and milk. Yeah. Then we have this little ditty right here, which is the comment on this said, everything Ryan Clark said about you is true. When you accidentally take melanin instead of melatonin to fall asleep. Yep. This was a great post right here. Ryan Clark Ryan Clark said RG3 uses his wife's skin color as a prop, and she should be seen as more than that because she's actually quite lovely a person. And the man responded by saying, "Stop insulting my wife. CTE is real, and this is what we call gaslighting." 1,000%. 1,000%. Like, that's crazy. Like, he actually complimented her at your expense. Like, he actually complimented her saying that she's more than that. Now, some people take it too far. You know what I mean? Somebody always going to take it too far. And here it is right here. Ryan Clark only needed to bring up this lineup as evidence of RG3's self-hate. Too far. That was too far. that was too far. Let he who has not experienced that lineup against their best judgment and free will. I don't know that he's old enough to have chosen that. Actually, he's old enough to have chosen that. But look, I couldn't afford to get my hair cut on a regular basis until I was in my 30s. Okay, so this is before NIL. This is pre-NIL, so I don't know what kind of deal and situation he had. That was a low blow. That was a low blow. Here we go. Shout out to Rodimus Prime, the black guy who tips. Who this actually reminded me I need to reach out to him so he can come on to the show. I think he came on back in the day. I think he's been on before, but not in a long time. Shout out to Rodimus Prime. There's way too much evidence on RG3 fetishizing his wife's whiteness. He can't beat those charges, and he can't fool me with that. I'm raising black daughters, and y'all are picking on me because I married a white woman. And then underneath that, you say, if it ain't snowing, we ain't going. Yeah. Yeah. What's wild about this, matter of fact, RG3, there's some good news. There's some good news for you. You have your own backers. You have people on your side. So here you go. Here's team RG3 right here. Jason Whitlock. Congratulations. Team Jason Whitlock. Yeah.
With RG3, he would make all of these sort of corny jokes about milk and how much he loved it and how important it was. And he always points out on social media the color of his wife's skin, as if the color of her skin is what makes her special.
We've gone way, way, way out of bounds. And anybody that's being objective is like, whoa. The biggest story of the sports weekend was the Fever versus the Sky and this confrontation, or this half confrontation, between Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese. RG3 offers a provocative but not out of bounds comment about what's at the root of this.
Okay. So we've gone out of bounds. RG3 offers a provocative but not out of bounds comment about what's at the root of this. Did that come in the context of the demonization of Angel Reese? And was that out of bounds? Huh? Are the people that the WNBA is investigating, because they had jumped into Angel Reese's mentions, and this is not new, was that out of bounds? Because I don't recall you commenting about that at all. And tell me, I just posted, 6, 7 posts just offhand about him calling his wife milk. Did he or did he not make comments about his wife's race and prioritize that? Did he or did he not do that? You could argue that he didn't. You could try and argue that. I think that's an absurd argument to make. But you could argue that he didn't. It seems apparent that he did. So why would pointing that out be out of bounds if him doing it isn't out of bounds? It's rough. It is rough. You went through an entire garbage can and found the one piece of candy. You ignored empty boxes. You ignored watermelon rinds. You ignored chewing gum. You ignored half-eaten sandwiches. You ignored discarded baby diapers. You're ignoring all of this garbage so you can pick and choose, so you can try and make a point. Really? Like it? You. Okay, I'm gonna let you go.
But there's real animus from Angel Reese towards Caitlin Clark, and now Ryan Clark has driven a bus over RG3 and RG3's wife.
So let me ask you this. If I told you that I judge RG3's wife by the content of her character and that she is more than her race, you would tell me and advocate for that to be the way that people should behave. That's the kind of rhetoric that you guys push towards every single day. But because it's working in the wrong direction, now all of a sudden he insulted RG3's wife. Here's the crazy thing about it too. Because we were just in this same space when it came to Byron Donalds and Jasmine Crockett. When Jasmine Crockett talked about Byron Donalds being whitewashed, maybe he feels like he's whitewashed. He married a white woman and he's whitewashed. And everybody on the right wing ran to Kamala Harris. You self-own to a degree that was profound and fascinating because you called her racist, right? You called Jasmine Crockett racist for a comment that she made that you want to apply to Kamala Harris, but somehow she's still racist. How is she still racist if it's specific to Byron Donalds, but not to every black person who's in that situation? That would make it a personal comment now, wouldn't it? That would make it a personal comment now, wouldn't it? But you miss the point to such a degree that is one part fascinating, but second part phenomenal, because we don't have to go far to show you the error of your ways. It's almost impressive. Like, what's that? I'm not even mad. I'm impressed. Right wing, I'm not even mad. I'm impressed. The man said she's a lovely woman and she's more than her race. Ain't that what you say every day, Whitlock? About white people. You definitely don't say it about us. Ain't that what you say every day? You probably said that about his wife. But not Ryan Clark. Ryan Clark can't say it though.
And his dating marriage preference. This seems out of bounds. Anybody with a brain is like, hey, this is out of bounds. And then not only out of bounds, it's illogical and it's racist.
It is illogical. It's kind of like that woman. If you guys haven't gotten a chance to check out that video of the woman who accused the guy at the Georgia Walmart of trying to take her baby. And in telling the story, she was like, yeah, he said that, his story, his story didn't make a whole lot of sense to me. Yeah, it don't to me either. It don't to me either, lady. The story you trying to repeat, yeah, that's not a good one. That's no. Back to the drawing board with that one, lady. Yeah, that isn't a good one. Crap, what was I gonna say? I kind of lost my train of thought. All right, I'm gonna let me see how long. I want to see how much of RG3's response I can get to. He did say there's a line you don't cross in life, and Ryan Clark sprinted past it. Ryan Clark didn't like my take on Angel Reese hating Caitlin Clark. That's fine. Disagreement is part of the game. But instead of debating my point, he personally attacked me and my family. No, he personally attacked you. He attacked me. You attacked me. You attacked me and all of DC. No, that was about you. You violated everybody with glasses. No, that was just you, sir. I gave a sports opinion. No, you didn't. I gave a sports. He's hiding behind that. I gave a sports opinion. I said Angel Reese hates Caitlin Clark. Here, let's see what RG3 has to say. I'll see if I can sit through this or not.
There's been a lot of buzz, a lot of conversations. Yo, what's up, everybody? It's your boy RG3, and I just wanted to get on here and talk to you guys because there's been a lot of buzz, a lot of conversations about my sports take that Angel Reese hates Caitlin Clark, which was purely based in basketball.
It's purely based in basketball. I wonder what about Angel Reese's basketball game? It's the rebounding? It's the layups? Is that why she hates Caitlin Clark? Because it's the layup because she refuses to be like Caitlin Clark? Is that what about interesting.
But I think all of you know there's a line in life that you just simply don't cross. Wives and children are always off limits. And Ryan Clark has sprinted past that line.
RG3 isn't the only person to do this. He's not the only person to do this. But one of my absolute pet peeves is when you use your family and then try and hide behind family is off limits. Unacceptable. That's unacceptable. Yeah, I mean, that is unacceptable. Now, that's something that I feel like I have in my chamber because I don't use my family. But if you decide you're going to do a milk post every 6 months, if you decide you're going to eat the croissant and that's going to be your video when you're in Paris, or if you want to go with the melanin melatonin, that's fine. You can make a grip doing family content. You know how many families out there are making a go of it, doing the whole interracial thing? You know what big business that? Because we've seen it. I've seen it. My wife has showed it to me. I've seen it. Oh, look, she's white. I'm black. The kids are light brown. It's crazy. It's a whole thing. And you know what? That's fine. That's totally fine. I don't have a problem with that at all. But if that's what you're going to do, then you lose access to families out of it. No, the family is it. The family is the whole it. There's no other it. That's it. No, we're not doing that.
Ryan Clark didn't like my sports take that Angel Reese hates Caitlin Clark. And that's fine. It's okay. It's part of the game. Sports media, I'm going to have an opinion. This person might not agree with it. That person might not agree with it. But what you don't do is turn around and personally attack me and my family just because you don't agree with a sports opinion that is purely based off the sport.
I mean, all right, okay. This has been
make it
addressed.
personal. But
Don't
what
make
that
it
really
personal.
shows is just how low of a person Ryan Clark is.
Right. Ryan Clark is the low person for saying his wife is a lovely person and she's more than her race. He's the lovely person. He's the low person.
Ryan, you crossed the line, man. You made it personal and some. I really believe there should be no space in sports media for personal attacks. I've said it before. But certainly personal attacks against wife and children have always been off limits. Ryan, you attacked me and my family in a public forum on a level that shows just how low of a human being you are. You can disagree with me all you want. Challenge my takes, but keep my family and my wife out of it. That's a boundary that should always be respected, man. Always. Ryan Clark personally attacking me and my family because he disagreed with my sports opinion is a bad look for ESPN. It's cowardly, it's spineless, and it's weak. Ryan Clark personally attacking me and my family. Personally because he disagreed with my sports opinion is a bad look for him as a man. I hope you get the help you need, brother.
I hope you get the help that you need. Sorry, that was low. I had it up as high as it would go. For some reason, that video was low. I'll be dead real with you. I'll be dead real with you. After further consultation with my team, I've decided that that's a bad look for me as a man. You know what I mean? It's a bad look for me as a man. And I just can't go that low of a person. So the first jerseyless moment. Yes, it's an RG3 throwback. Matter of fact, this is one of the ones that I actually got at the time. I didn't buy it after the fact. I bought it that season. And y'all know what season it was. It was exactly one. I bought it that year. The good year. Yeah, that is the year I bought it. Aracelis. Thank you, Aracelis. I appreciate you. Thank you. Patrick. Welcome, Patrick. All right. This went on for quite some time. Let me tell you that I dropped the ball, unfortunately, on something. Shout out to Regina. I don't know if she's here, but Regina texted me last night. Actually, hold on. I want to see if anybody knows where I'm about to go with this. Does anybody know? I'm curious if y'all paying attention, because I was not paying attention. Does anybody know the relevance of this? Miss Ray, you're not allowed to answer. Does anybody know the relevance of this? Oh! Yo, how long has this been in the conversation? I was chilling last night. And okay, so a lot of times I send emails to Regina like, hey, this is a good idea. I think we should talk about this. And sometimes she just will do it. Like something happens, she'll just like, like the Biden thing, like she just went and sent me an email. Regina sent me an email. She had it all ready to go. I said, what is this? What is this? What is this? So I started looking at it. And I was like, this is dumb. I didn't watch any of the videos, but I was like, this is dumb. And I watched one video, and I was like, all right, that was decent. And I watched the second video. I was like, no, this is a whole thing. Y'all had a whole dialogue about this. I swear, TikTok is like a week ahead of Instagram. And Instagram is like a couple days ahead of YouTube. Y'all have whole dialogues going on that ain't even hit the masses yet. I had no idea. Kristen, don't worry about it, Kristen, because I had not heard of this 24 hours ago. I was clueless 24 hours ago. Kristen, there is a whole conversation happening online based on one TikToker saying that redheads were black with no evidence. None. She even recorded a whole separate video saying, y'all asking me for scientific research. Y'all didn't ask Fauci for scientific research. Word? So that's your justification? That's your justification? Is y'all didn't ask Fauci? That's the basis of you saying that redheads... Hey, let me tell you this. I dated a redhead one time, and she was late to Cheesecake Factory, and it was the first time I ever showed up before my date at Cheesecake Factory. They must be black. Is that your justification? Is that... Y'all are crazy. Y'all are crazy, man. All right, so Steady Servant, I appreciate you. I appreciate you, Steady Servant. So I did this whole video about the ginger saying that they're black. And at no point, and this is why I say I dropped the ball, at no point did I look into the redhead cupboard. I'm so mad at myself. Like after the fact, after I recorded it, I was like, why didn't I look into the redhead cupboard? I didn't. But I will say real quickly, I'd be happy to take Christina Hendricks. I always liked her in Mad Men a lot. I'd be happy to take Christina Hendricks. Florence Welch, Florence and the Machine. I always like Florence and the Machine. Yeah, always like Florence and the Machine. So I'll rock with Prince Harry already was at the cookout. So that's neither here nor there. Carol Burnett. Shout out to Carol Burnett and Lucille Ball. You guys know I love comedians. So shout out to the two of them. Susan Sarandon. I feel like Susan Sarandon has done some good like social justice. And she does Rick Astley. Oh yeah, that's right. Never gonna give you up. Never gonna give you up. Yeah. And he had the bass in his voice too. I might have to do a whole separate video. I might have to do a whole separate video. I don't think Reba's coming. I don't know that for a fact. I don't know that for a fact, but it just those are the vibes I get. Yep, Sansa Stark. Yep, we get Sansa Stark, so I'm looking very forward to that. We get how come my girl from X-Files isn't on here? Jillian. Where's my girl Jillian from X-Files? She should have been on the famous redheads. Now, these are a lot of women. Let's go to Danny Bonaducci. By the way, Danny Bonaducci had one of the wildest reality shows back in the day. Shout out to David Caruso. Chuck Norris. Oh, I love me some Chuck Norris. I love. One of the great losses of my childhood was when I grew up as a huge fan of Chuck Norris and realized that Chuck Norris would get pieced up by your average middle-aged male. Like that was sad. That was sad. It was Tooth Fairy. It was Tooth Fairy. It was Santa Claus, and finding out Chuck Norris would get pieced up by most of my uncles. Chuck Norris couldn't fight his way out of a family reunion. Nah. Yeah. So we got Rupert Grant. Oh yeah, Rupert Grant. The dude from Harry Potter. I ain't like him though. I wasn't feeling the Weasleys. I don't know why. It's not a, you know why? Because I thought that Harry should have been with Hermione. I don't accept the Weasleys. They messed up Harry and Hermione on both sides. I didn't like neither one of them for that. Unacceptable. Robert Redford. I like Robert Redford. Simon Pegg. If you don't know Simon Pegg, Hot Fuzz, he's made some. I love Simon Pegg. He's good. I think we can make some deals. I think we can make some deals, redheads. That's well done. And you know what? I'm gonna sign off like David Caruso. I'm gonna sign off all like fake melodramatic, like David Caruso. That's kind of how I started, right? And that's kind of how I started with no glasses and then put this on. Oh, I didn't even bring this up. I was so traumatized as a kid with my glasses that I stopped wearing my glasses when I went to college with no contacts or nothing. I just walked around blind. I would wear them when I was in my room, but I just walked around blind. I walked around Columbia campus blind. I literally could have ended up in somebody's van and wouldn't have known. No idea. Thank goodness they got numbered streets. If it wasn't for numbered streets, I never would have made it. But I tried to. Somebody said they did the same thing. Jules, I literally tried to reinvent myself. You know how people go to college, they go away to school, and all of a sudden they have a different backstory? You know, my reinvention was this. It was like Superman and Clark Kent. It was like Superman and Clark. Like, I can't wait till I go to college. Snap. Bruh. Like talking Jamaican, Roberta. Exactly like that. Exactly like that. I ended up getting contacts. I wear contacts in college. I couldn't do it. People kept staring at me. Oh, because they were used to you having glasses? You said I used to play volleyball without my glasses. I couldn't see much. Yeah, I mean, dangerous. It's dangerous to play it with them. Max, thank you. I appreciate that, Max. I can tell you this. If you watch any of the videos of me at ESPN or any of my Weather Channel or Turner stand up, anything I did before 2017, I did not have glasses. I got contacts. Somebody said that they drove without their glasses. That's crazy. I'm glad you made it. I got contacts when I left college. And so I wore contacts my entire professional career. And then when I came to astigmatism, so I couldn't get the like permanent ones. Like I kept having to have the disposable ones. But like when I came to DC, I lost the energy for that. And I realized that's going to be a fact of life for me now. I'm at the age where you begin to lose energy for things. You know, I told my daughter yesterday, I took my son and I flew him around the house like Superman. And then my daughter said, "Daddy, do me." And I said, it's like a 20-pound limit on this ride. I'm sorry, I can't. I get you tomorrow. Yeah. I gotta rest up. I'm at the age where you lose energy for things. I was like, bro, the contact game is crazy. I realized the trauma that was involved, but I just decided when I came in 2017, I couldn't do it no more. I was like, I'm good. I'm good. Let me see if I can find somebody that will love me for me with my glasses. And I did. And that was it. They definitely not coming back now. She make fun of me now because she talks about how I had no hair. That was two things I did. The glasses came back and I grew my hair out because I thought it might have been my last opportunity. But there's a lot of ground on that tree, but I'm not going to cover it today because we'll be here for another 2 hours. But I do want to appreciate you guys for coming through. Michael, shout out. Thank you, Michael. I appreciate that. We are going to have guests the next few lives. We have a number of esteemed guests coming up. We got Jamel is coming through. We got Reese Colbert is coming through. We got Foreign Man in a Foreign Land is coming through. And we got a lot of other ass out as well. So it's gonna be hot. Also, keep your eyes open for members lives because I really like the just shoot the breeze lives. I like that energy. So this is what the members lives are normally like, is me just talking to y'all. So keep your eyes out for that. LMSYT. I had 20/10 vision at one point. Then in the last 5 years, now I wear progressive glasses and I have astigmatism. Yeah, I got it. They told me my astigmatism was so bad that if I got LASIK, I was going to need it again in 2 years because it would just go back to the way it was before. Apparently, that's the way they explained it. They said you get LASIK and your eyes slowly go back to the way they were before, but like very slow, like over like 15, 20 years. And you will need it again if you are still around at that point. But my astigmatism so bad, it would be back to the way it was within like a couple years. That's what he said to me. I was like, look, if you're gonna argue me not to pay the money, then I'll believe you. If you've ever been to a store and consulted somebody and they were like, I wouldn't do that. Believe them. But okay, we're good. Reese, I just wanted you. Oh, Deshauna, you are too kind. Thank you so much, Deshauna. Thank you. And also, thank you for keeping the community chats hot over on Patreon. Which, by the way, thank you, Ronnie. I appreciate you. Thank you so much, Ronnie. If you guys haven't gotten a chance to sign up for the Patreon, the discount was for the first month. So that's going to go away probably in the next week or so. So if you wanted to give it a chance, make sure to go to patreon.com/Reese Waters. And if you are a current member and you wanted to try Patreon, you can get a couple months for free just to see if you like it. So maybe I can repost those in the community tab. I posted those links a while back, but I can maybe post those back in the community tab. So make sure you guys check that out. All right. On that note, BOGO Wednesday. And you know what? If we keep producing at this clip, it might be a BOGO Friday too. But we'll start with Wednesday. BOGO Wednesday. Make sure. Okay. So somebody say repost. Samara, I will repost those links. I got you on that. I know, Treva. It's crazy. Yeah, I know. When we leave here, I'm gonna go over to the community chat over on Patreon, so you guys can look for me over there. And by the way, you can just create a free account over there if you just want to be a part of the community chat. But I recommend you do that. It is Tuesday, which means that our Wednesday Waters newsletter is coming out tomorrow. So anybody that's in that's part of the Patreon posting package. So anybody that's wants the newsletter, Regina's been working hard on that, so be on the lookout for that. But shout out to all you guys for being so dope in the chat, especially all the Mod Squad, Roberta and Deshauna and Chernobyl and of course Miss Ray. Very much appreciate you guys for being a part of it. And then welcome to Kathy. Welcome, Kathy. Thank you, Tammy. Thank you, TP. Thank you, Lakia. Thank you, iCare. Thank you, Arrow. Thank you, Zeekster. Thank you, Aracelis. Shout out to you, Steph. Thank you, Larry, as always. And thank you for being a part of the mods as well. Aracelis, thank you. Thank you for Patrick Lowe. Thank you for Steady Serving. Thank you, Michael. Thank you, Deshauna. And thank you to Ronnie. All right. I will see you guys at noon for the premiere, and I'll see you in the evening for the next one. And oh yeah, I gotta do my David Caruso. Soak your feet.